Sports City, chefs, Sports City, chefs. Yeah, Cabby, Taj.
What's going on, Sports City? It's your boy Sirius, and it's such a privilege to bring you another edition of Finger Foods here on Sports City Chefs and SportsCityChefs.com. Before I get started this afternoon, I wanted to encourage those who are not a subscriber to give us a follow by just pressing that bell or hitting the subscribe button, and you'll be notified every time we post. We are also on Facebook. We are on Instagram, and we are also on Twitter. So if you're not currently following us, give us a follow if you like the content and just want to be abreast of what happens and what goes on here on the network. Before I get started, I did want to say that these thoughts and these feelings are feelings and thoughts of my own and do not represent the Pittsburgh Steelers as an organization, nor the Green Bay Packers. Also, I wanted to stress that these feelings are once again my own and do not represent Sports City Chefs. They are my opinions and my opinions only. Before we get started this afternoon, I did want to change it up a little bit and speak about some of the good that I saw in yesterday's game, as I did see significant improvement in a couple of areas which I've brought to you guys in previous weeks. From the looks of things, we look like we stay consistent with the running game, and Najee Harris got his first rushing touchdown of the young career. He ended up running for 62 yards, and it seems like the offensive line were able to clean some things up. They got in the lab and they cleaned some things up. They were able to open up some significant holes. They stayed on their blocks. They were detailed in the technicality of the work, and they played pretty much clean. There were a couple holding calls and false start calls and things of that nature, but for the most part, they played pretty clean. So I wanted to tip my cap to them. Defensively, I felt as though we were able to generate pressure at times. It wasn't the amount of pressure that I felt was needed to get out of the stadium with the win. But I felt as though, as opposed to the past couple of weeks, we're able to generate pressure and make things a little bit uncomfortable at times for the future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers. So I commend them on that. With that being said, I'm gonna probably flip it on his ear and speak about the negatives. And I'm just gonna start at the top. Matt Canada, I'm really confused, sir, with your play calling and your play selection. I understand that, again, you're working with a group of young men who really are struggling right now with holding blocks and pass pro, but your play selection is something that I'm questioning now. With that being said, I'm not too sure if you're calling, a decent play and Ben is just misreading it or what. I will say that there were a couple plays that were called that Ben missed, and I'm gonna get to 7 here in a minute. But ultimately, we are 0 and I think 5 this season on fourth down. These are 4th and 5 minus, and I'm not too sure what's being called. Or, they say it's a lack of execution. I'm really not buying that, Mr. Canada. So for me, as we turn the page into October and, look at, your first 4 games on the job, I'm going to say this is a failure right now. I'm not impressed. We need to get it together. Offensive line, I praise you on one hand, and I need to, kind of continue to kick you in the butt on the other hand. There was, some times when we just didn't get it done. Ben is starting to hold the ball a little longer than I wanted to, but on the sack fumble, that defender was in his face way too quickly. And so I'm not too sure if there was a breakdown in communication or what. We can't have that. I want you guys to continue to improve, continue to get better, continue to evolve. However, we need to continue to be detailed in our work. You were able to open up some holes for Najee, and I appreciate that, but ultimately, we need to be continued improvement in our work there. Ben Roethlisberger, what's going on the field right now is painful to watch. I was doing the wrap-up show last week with the homie Barry, and he said that watching Big Ben right now is the equivalent of what he had to go through as a Giants fan, watching the tail end of Eli Manning's career. And he's right. This is really, really bad. One of my favorite movies is Old Yeller, and we all understand, we all know how that movie ended. It's time to hang it up, bro. I sat here and I defended you, and we went to bat for you, and everything is Father Time, waits for no man. And unfortunately, he's come and tapped you on the shoulder. And it's time for you to just hang it on up. Now, I know you pretty well. You're not gonna, give up in the middle of the season, and you're gonna want to stay out there and fight with your guys and all that sort of stuff. And I commend you for being a stand-up guy, but ultimately, you're costing this team. The throws that you're making are inaccurate. You're missing wide open targets. By the time they call it splash, you are not helping us obtain that splash. And that's on you. That's on you. A little bit ago I spoke about Matt Canada's play calling. And quite frankly, he's to share some of this blame, but there were receivers running open yesterday, and you flat out missed them. Juju had a walk-in touchdown, and you just flat out missed them. I listened to your press conference, and you said that you struggle with trying to take some off it or put some air under it so they can run under to it. It doesn't matter. Put the football in a position for him to catch it. He could have been more wide open, and you missed him twice. So again, I'm appreciative of your efforts and what you mean to the organization and mean to the Pittsburgh Steelers and everything that you've done for us. But unfortunately, my guy, you got to go. Now, when I say you have to go, I'm talking about you in general, but Steelers fans automatically assume that, that means Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins, steps under center. I do not think, and I've said this previously, I do not think the quarterback of the future is on my roster currently. I really don't. Mason Rudolph has shown that he can't lead it, and I haven't really been a fan of Dwayne Haskins since he came into the league. So I don't think, any of those guys, are the answer, which, leads me to believe that, we're gonna be drafting somebody or, playing the free agent game or something, in 2022. But with that being said, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Defensively, we have to become more detailed in our work. We gave up way too many third downs. I understand that we were playing Aaron Rodgers, and he is arguably the best at moving around and buying time and whatever the case may be. But we got beat literally in man coverage, and we got beat on crossing routes. Randall Cobb scored on a crossing route, third down. He completed a third down and long on a crossing route. It's unfortunate that we can't get off the field on third down. I think we are the worst team on third down. Maybe besides the Washington football team, but we can't get off the field on third down at all. I'm encouraged with the fact that we were able to generate a turnover. We were forced to fumble. Here's my thing. I'm seeing way too much Joe Schobert in pass coverage. I would much rather see us go to a nickel package, bring in a corner, bring in a safety. Teams are starting to pick on the fact that Joe Schobert is in pass coverage more than we want him to be. Melvin Ingram, I missed you on the stat sheet yesterday, buddy. You came up with one tackle. You should have had a sack. You missed a sack. You came up with one tackle. Troy Edmonds, man. I want to yell at you, bro, but unfortunately I can't. You did your thing out there. Cam Sutton, you got beat so many times it's not even funny. You got beat so many times it's not even funny. So I need some answers there. James Pierre, you're a young guy, but that's not an excuse for me, sir. I need to be more detailed in your work and play better. TJ Watt, I understand, bro. You're just coming off of a groin, and you garner a lot of attention. With that being said, sir, yesterday wasn't your best day. So we got a lot of work to do. I'm still encouraged. I'm still completely optimistic about where we'll be able to end up. We got a Denver Broncos team coming in the Heinz Field next week. We haven't won this year at home. Let's get this done. I don't care who's banged up. I don't care who they got, who we don't got. We owe it to our fans. We owe it to ourselves to get this evil taste out of our mouths. With that being said, I thank you guys for allowing me to speak my time, and speak my mind here. We got some shows coming up this week. I'll be on the NFL Wrap-Up Show with Barry the Villain talking about Week 3. Lord willing, we'll be back at it on Wednesday with the Callers Cookout, kind of closing the chapter on week number 4 and, popping the top on week 5, along with baseball stuff and things of that nature. With that being said, I wish you all the very best of luck and prosperity in your week. God bless.
Sports City, Chef, Sports City, Sports City.